let's have some.
Okay, Matt, we got the memo about the Kindness Rising promo, but what exactly are we promising people?
And is there craft services? Hey, I need snacks too.
Gentlemen, focus. Kindness Rising multiplies kindness and helps people get up on the right side of the bed.
So wait, we're not doing another angry headline show.
Exactly. We rise above the negative, divisive noise.
Translation, less rage bait, more high fives for humanity.
And this is live, like actually live.
Yep. We go live on YouTube and LinkedIn, 7:30 a.m. Eastern every weekday.
Wait, if it's live, what if I forget my lines?
Then you improvise.
Okay, so our tagline is basically wake up, tune in, and start your day with kindness.
Exactly. Kindness Rising. Good vibes, practical tips, and a reason to get up on the right side of the bed.
You heard the boss. Subscribe now before he makes us do a TikTok dance.
Kindness Rising. Wake up, tune in, and let's make some good noise.
What do a singing Frankenstein, a sheriff named Bart, and a space hero with a giant helmet all have in common? They taught Gen X one of the greatest lessons of all. Laughter is survival. Today on Kindness Rising, we're diving into the works of Mel Brooks, the king of parody and the bard of failure turned funny.
This is Kindness Rising.
Mel Brooks built entire worlds out of flops and foils. His characters failed spectacularly, from producers banking on a Broadway disaster to outlaws fumbling through the Wild West. And yet we laughed, we learned, and we came back for more. Gen X grew up on Brooks's films, and they shaped how we see humor, resilience, and kindness today.
Cal, I'm ready to star in Space Westerns the musical.
Stan, you're one kazoo solo away from a cease and desist.
Mel Brooks didn't just make movies, he made mirrors. His work showed us who we were by turning our world upside down, whether it was westerns, horror, sci-fi, or Broadway. Brooks taught Gen X that it was okay to laugh at the serious, to poke holes in power, and to turn failure into a punchline. That's why his stories stuck with us. They weren't just jokes, they were lessons in resilience, humility, and kindness disguised as comedy. For a generation, Mel Brooks wasn't background entertainment. He was a playbook for surviving absurd times with humor and heart. Let's jump into the comments and see who's out there today. Lady Drew Boger, welcome. Always here with us. We appreciate you. If you're out there in the community listening right now, please subscribe, get involved in the comments. That's what we do here at Kindness Rising. We communicate. It's all about having a conversation together, and you can have a conversation in the comments with us, please. Adam Holroyd, welcome in, Adam. Lady Drew and Adam, you two have been with us from the beginning. We're on episode 60, the big 60. We are not stopping Monday through Friday, 7:30 a.m. Eastern here at Kindness Rising. Louie, what's up? What you doing on here? What you talking about? Today we are talking about Gen X fandom. It's our Fandom Friday. We are talking about the films of Mel Brooks and the way his comedy connects us to kindness, helps us to see that it's okay to laugh at the serious stuff. It's okay to make fun of things. That's the humor we grew up with. I'm 53 years old. Spent a lot of time with my friends in the Mel Brooks world. The first DVD I ever bought was History of the World. Amazing, amazing, amazing. Hang out with us, Louie. We are glad you are here. Welcome into this wonderful community that we have here at Kindness Rising. We're having some fun today talking about Mel Brooks. Yes, he gave us permission to fail loudly and laugh at it. That's kindness in action by turning serious genres into parodies, westerns, horror, sci-fi, musicals. He reminded us that even our biggest flops can be funny if we share them together. His gift wasn't just comedy, it was relief, a way for Gen X to cope with absurd times through absurd laughter. And I'm going to go through a little rundown. We're going to go through some of his films. We're going to talk about each one. We're going to talk about how they relate to kindness. And I bet Cal and Stan have a little something to say about it. They're big Mel Brooks fans too. When Blazing Saddles, we're going to talk about that first one. Love me some Blazing Saddles. Came out in 1974. It pushed boundaries no one else dared touch. It exposed racism by ridiculing it, showing how absurd hatred looks when it's put under a comedic light. Mel Brooks didn't ignore ugliness of the world. He made us laugh at it so we could strip it of power. That is the power of comedy. Be driven. Welcome in. Good morning. Happy day to you, Bernard. I hope life is good. Good morning. Stay buzzy, my friend. All right. Thank you so much. The lesson from Blazing Saddles is kindness sometimes means calling things out, not with cruelty, but with courage and humor. Because remember, kindness isn't soft, it's powerful. Sometimes you got to call things out. Satire, it disarms hate by looking at it, making it look ridiculous. And in doing so, it opens the door for connection and change. Let's see what Cal and Stan have to say about Blazing Saddles.
Howdy, partner. I'm here to save the town from itself.
Stan, the only thing you're saving is these good people from good taste.
Is really getting into his Brooksian world. He is a big fan, and I'm a big fan too. And that's why next I'm going to talk about one of the all-time greats, A Roll in the Hay. Young Frankenstein flipped the horror genre on its head. Every experiment in the lab went wrong, but instead of terror, it delivered laughter. Gene Wilder's Wild-Eyed Scientist showed us that even the scariest failures can become comedy gold. And the lesson there is that failure doesn't have to frighten us. When we frame it with humor, it becomes lighter, easier to share, and even a stepping stone to growth. The kindness here is in helping each other laugh when things don't go as planned. Love me some young Frankenstein, Frau Blucher, and all that good stuff. All right. I could go on and on and on all day with quotes from Mel Brooks. I promised myself I wasn't going to do it, and here I am doing it anyway. Thank you for joining us here at Kindest Rising. Get involved in the comments, subscribe to the channel, check out Mornings in the Lab Network, subscribe to us too. At the Mornings in the Lab with Keith, John, and friends, because they are going to have an awesome time starting at 8 o'clock today. All right, let's move on to our next films. Who's got guesses? If you got guesses, let me know. I don't have them all. I have them the most obvious ones. And so the next one we know is our little parody of all those sci-fi movies. By the time Spaceballs came out, fandoms were exploding. We take a Fandom Friday every Friday here on Kindness Rising. We cover a different fandom. And by the time Spaceballs came out, fandoms were out there. Star Wars was huge. It had already become basically sacred for sci-fi fans, you know, like absolutely it was already there. Sci-fi was big business already by the time Spaceballs came out. But Mel Brooks, he went right at it, poking fun at merchandising, mega fandom, and even the ideas of taking our obsessions too seriously. Kindness in fandom means being able to laugh at yourself. I definitely laugh at myself. I'm ridiculous sometimes. I'm out here to have some fun, and I hope you are too. Kindness is being able to laugh at yourself. When we take our obsessions too seriously, they divide us. We have to have some perspective in this world. When we laugh together, that brings us closer. Humor makes room for everyone to be in on the joke and not just shout about it. Speaking of shouting about it, let's check out what's going on here. Lady Drew, welcome. You into Mel Brooks? I think you said you were before. Let me know what's your favorite. Adam Holroyd's out here with his favorite Robin Hood Men in Tights. So good, so good. What I loved about it is that the Kevin Costner version that came out before that it was parodying it tried to take himself so seriously with that. I mean, it was a good movie. I enjoyed it, but uh, he took himself so seriously, and Mel went ahead and turned it right upside down on its head. First time I ever remember meeting Dave Chappelle was in Robin Hood Men in Tights. I think he was like 18 or 19 years old when that movie came out. That's kind of a cool little Brooksian fact that Chappelle's first major screen role was in Robin Hood Men in Tights. Very smart. He had two lines or something. Anyway, that we'll talk about Robin Hood Men in Tights maybe later. I don't know, because right now we're talking about Spaceballs, and we are going to find out what Cal and Stan have to say or think about Spaceballs. Maybe.
I am the dark overlord of leftovers.
Finally, a villain powered by spaghetti.
All right. And because I put work into it and showed it out of order, I'm going to throw you the Cal and Stan bit about young Frankenstein. You may remember some of this concept.
It's alive. The monster has risen from the pipes.
That's not a monster. That's your lunch from yesterday.
Cal and Stan's bathroom is gross. I used to have a gross bathroom too. I lived in a fraternity house, but that is pretty nasty there. I hope they get someone maybe to help them clean it up or get it going and clean it themselves. Anyway, it's a fandom Friday. We're having fun on Kindness Rising. We are into it all right now, getting after it. I appreciate everyone that's out there. If you're out there in the on the feed, get involved. Don't forget to subscribe to Kindness Rising. I'm Matt Roof, the Uncommon Kindness Guy. You can find me here on YouTube. You can find me on LinkedIn, Facebook, TikTok, Instagram, all the places where I am there trying to do my best to spread a little kindness and rise above all the noise that's out there in the world. Someone named Roseanne Roof is in the comments again today. I don't know who that person is. Very strange. We have the same last name. Hey, Mom. Thank you for keeping the Mel Brooks humor alive for this generation. It is so needed. It is so needed, Mom. It is. You know, I've tried to show your grandchildren the Mel Brooks films, and they're just not into it. I think we're a couple, maybe years away from the maturity to really understand it and see the humor. But we'll try. We'll try because Mel Brooks is awesome. And Dad introduced me, Mom. Dad introduced me to Mel Brooks. Of course, he was a huge fan of the Mel Brooks comedy, That Whole World. I miss my father terribly, but this is a little bit of everything that I do is a little honor to him, but today is a little honor for his sense of humor. All right. Welcome into Kindness Rising. We love it here every day, Monday through Friday, 7:30 a.m. And today we are talking about the multiple films of Mr. Mel Brooks. All right. Well, Holroyd, I won't keep you waiting any longer. We're gonna get into Men in Tights because it's awesome. That movie reminded us that even our most legendary heroes can be goofy, campy, and wildly human by exaggerating the tropes, the tights, the accents, all the training sequences. Brooks turned a serious myth into a shared joke. It wasn't mean spirited parody, it was joyful silliness that invited everyone to laugh. The lesson in this for us from Robin Hood Men in Tights is that kindness is in letting go of the need to be taken so seriously. Life is lighter when we drop the armor, embrace the ridiculous, and have a little fun. Humor can humanize even the tallest legends, reminding us that none of us are above the laugh. All right, let's see. Whoops, oh no! Oh, I pulled the trigger on the wrong video. All right, pretend you didn't hear that. That's fine.
Fear not, good people. I steal from the rich and give to me.
Stan, those tights are the real crime here.
Silly, silly, silly. Well, that is the lesson from Men in Tights. Don't wear tights, men. Try to avoid them. I actually have had to wear tights before. I admit it. I've worn tights. I wore tights when I performed in Pinocchio on stage. I got to wear some lovely tights. That was kind of there's pictures, but they kind of stay local. If you know what I mean. No, but it was one of the greatest joys of my life. I've talked about it before, but I'll talk it again. One of the greatest joys of my life, especially with my child, was being able to perform on stage together in a local adaptation of Pinocchio. It was a lot of fun. I got to play the evil guy who, not Stromboli, the other guy, the really creepy guy who actually abducts essentially the children and brings them to Pleasure Island and turns them into donkeys. And I had to sing and I had to dance and I messed up lines and we had a lot of fun. It was an amazing, amazing um, experience that I had with my kids. So, and I got to wear tights, big bright red ones, believe it or not. Hysterical. So much fun. So much fun. I encourage anyone, if you've never done it, to get involved in community theater. Both my parents were involved. My sister was heavily involved in theater, and I did it on a dare. Yep, yep. I told my kid I was going to audition for the same show, and then I was dared to do it, and I dared, and guess what? I got selected, and then I had to go through with it, and I did. I did it every day. It was awesome. All right, that's my Pinocchio story for those who haven't heard it before. I didn't intend to tell it, but the Men in Tights thing was just irresistible. All right. Welcome into Kindness Rising. We're having a lot of fun here. We're talking about the movies of Mel Brooks and the way they link to kindness and failure and being able to laugh at ourselves and just in general lightening the mood a little bit. I think we probably all need a little bit of that some days, regardless of how you view the world. We don't really get involved in politics here. That's what we're trying to rise above. You can take a half-hour break from all that nonsense and chill out for a little bit with Kindness Rising, 7:30 a.m. Eastern, Monday through Friday. One other topic we always talk about is branding, because we are a business and we like to talk about what we do, and what we do is help you with your brand. That's what we're here for. Kindness means being willing to laugh at your own failures so they don't weigh us down, because they sting less when they're shared. Parody, when done with heart, isn't about cruelty, right? So when you're able to do that with your own brand, then you are able to reach more people and have a great time connecting. Mel Brooks built his brand that is instantly recognizable. It was parody with a punch. That's how our program works a little bit too. Our EAT program, our 5-ingredient recipe to help you with your branding. It's experience, expertise, authenticity, trust, and entertainment. And we do it right here on Kindness Rising. It is the way of the future. Facing the camera, building a brand, even messing up. Mel Brooks proves it's not perfection, but personality that makes people follow you. fear of video fades when you realize that bloopers, stumbles, and flops aren't flaws. They're your brand's comedy relief and they make you real. I have learned that very well over the past 60 episodes here at Kindness Rising because I leaned into it and I just said progress over perfection. And every day I come out and I try to do things and I listen to our community and I get involved and I love doing it. And so I hope if I always say I've been saying, said it, I don't know if I said it on here, but definitely saying it to myself a lot. If each episode I can help one person reach one person with one thing, then I'm doing my job. That's what I'm here for. That's what I love to do is help people. It's my purpose to deliver some kindness and try to help people. So that is what I do. It's what we do on the Mornings in the Lab Network. I would highly suggest if you haven't before, you get on over to Mornings in the Lab with Keith, John, and friends at 8 o'clock for their amazing show. Today is going to be ridiculous. If anybody caught yesterday's episode, Keith teased a little bit that today's uh, fandom, or not Fandom Friday, but Free for All Friday over there is going to be talking about fish buttholes. I'm very interested in that. Actually, he's saying that it's connected to science and that there might be some science that shows we're not that far away from a fish butthole. I'll let you fill in the blanks with your joke or whoever you picture when I say fish butthole. It's a really funny thing to say. Keith was dying laughing yesterday. Out loud today too. So get on over and continue the conversation about fish buttholes, I guess. I don't know, any fisher people out there? Love to hear from you if you got things to say about fishing. I'm leaving it a little open. I don't have a ton of open material right now or written material or cues. I can always riff and fill the space with you guys here talking about Mel Brooks and kindness. So let's continue that conversation. I've covered all the, I think the major movies. I'd call those Brooks's big four. Right? Is it big four? Right? You got Blazing Saddles, you got Spaceballs, you got Men in Tights, and of course Young Frankenstein. Which that movie, I've connected with so many people in my life over that movie too. One of the reasons I brought it here is because I know it is so well connected in our community. High Anxiety Mike Sullivan comes in with, yes, buddy, that is an awesome movie. Do you know Mike Sullivan? You probably do. Maybe other people don't if you're a fan of High Anxiety. High Anxiety, for those that don't know, it's one of Brooks's lesser but still amazing films. Was a send up of Hitchcock films. So if you like Alfred Hitchcock, you might enjoy the send ups that he does on those films. But the Psycho scene, he does a replay of the Psycho scene in a absolutely hilarious way. The shower scene that's so famous in Psycho. uh, Brooks actually shot that frame by frame, the exact same way that Hitchcock filmed the Janet Leigh shower scene in Psycho. It's literally a frame by frame reproduction, but with different dialogue and circumstances. So that's your little Brooks trivia. He's actually an amazing filmmaker. If you look at the films and some of the things that he did, Breaking Fourth Wall was always a huge thing for Mel Brooks. It adds another layer of of comedy, like at the end of Blazing Saddles. I don't think this is a spoiler alert since 1974 or whatever, but when they bust through the set to Dom DeLuise dancing. Oh my God. Like every time I think about it, I relive the laughter that I've had in my life about it. I didn't talk about History of the World. History of the World is an amazing movie. I should have added that one in. Maybe I'll do an entire episode on History of the World because there's so much to unpack in that film. But from the dawn of time uh, up through the contemporary period, Brooks did a great job of parody. I can't say the word. That word of making fun of major historical events, things like the French Revolution and all the Roman times. Oh my God, the Roman scenes are the best. Watch this. Anyway, Blazing Saddles is a great movie, ladies. It was the one that I was introduced to first. That was my first Brooks film, was Blazing Saddles, and I was like, I don't know. This is now in the '80s, right? So it's still pretty early, but uh, I was probably sensitive to. I know I was sensitive to some of the way the language was used there and some of the topics that they talked about. But the whole point of that was that it was calling it out for calling racism out for what it is, the use of the N word and people's uh, preconceived notions about people, other people. One of my favorite parts of Blazing Saddles, one of my favorite recurring characters, recurring actors in Brooks films is Madeline Kahn. Funniest woman ever, I think. Maybe. I don't want to say woman. She's one of the funniest people. Um, you're saying Mel Brooks was married to Gilda Radner. No, that's not true. I will give you a little trivia. It was Gene Wilder who was married to Gilda Radner, who starred in Mel Brooks films. Brooks was married to Anne Bancroft from The Graduate, Mrs. Robinson. Yep, they were married. Bancroft has passed. Brooks is still kicking around. He's got to be pushing 100. I should have done a little more research into what Mel is up to these days, but I know he's put out some stuff later, and I know Spaceballs 2 is supposed to be coming up. So I'll be interested to see how that all plays out, more merchandising from Spaceballs. But yeah, that's the facts about the marriages there, Lady Drew. Gene Wilder and Gilda Radner, another hysterical woman, Rosanna Dana. Um, Absolutely. Yes. Um, you're welcome, Lady Drew. I'm full of all kinds of facts that mean absolutely nothing. I love trivia and little things like that, and for some reason, stuff like that sticks with me, and I just roll with it. I just roll with it. Sometimes the facts come out. Sometimes, as I'm getting older, they're harder to come by. I feel like, but not as hard as for some. I just remember stupid little things like that. It's one thing. That's one of the reasons I do Fandom Fridays, because it gives me a chance to talk about a little bit more about nonsense in general subjects. Obviously, in the world of entertainment, I can get to share some of that knowledge and some of that brain power that I have for some reason to pick up. Everybody's got their things. Some people are great at numbers, some people are great at words, some people enjoy meaningless facts. And I am definitely a generalist when that comes around, but do not ask me about geography or maps. That's my Achilles heel in trivia. Uh, Geography, maps, flags. I mean, I know general geography, but when it gets into some of the obscure stuff, the really small countries over in Europe and Africa and stuff, I lose it. I lose it. I have a general feel for the world, uh, but that's just not something that ever really stuck with me. Although I find it fascinating and interesting, of course. But anyway, I am yakking away here on a Mel Brooks Friday. We are almost out of time, down to 8 o'clock, where you're going to get over to Mornings in the Lab with Keith, John, and friends. But I always leave you with a little challenge. Here's your challenge for the weekend. Have a little fun. Stuff's going to happen. When you flop, don't hide it. Share it. Turn it into a laugh. Invite someone else to laugh with you, not at you. Let's have some fun together. Keep it light and continue to get up and get after it every day, even on the weekends. It's a 7-day loop. So have some fun. Have a great weekend. Here's the end. Mel Brooks taught us Gen X that failure could be funny, parody could be healing, and laughter could be kindness. His films weren't just entertainments, They were survival tools for absurd times. So when life feels like a flop, remember Brooks. Break into song, laugh out loud, and pass the kindness forward. And as we always say right here on Kindness Rising, stay uncommon and stay kind.
Cal, I'm ready to star in Space Westerns the musical.
Stan, you're one kazoo solo away from a cease and desist.
Howdy, partner. I'm here to save the town from itself.
Stan, the only thing you're saving is these good people from good taste.
It's alive. The monster has risen from the pipes.
That's not a monster. That's your lunch from yesterday.
I am the dark overlord of leftovers.
Finally, a villain powered by spaghetti.
Fear not, good people. I steal from the rich and give to me.
Stan, those tights are the real crime here.
So do you think we're the next Mel Brooks?
Stan, we're not even the next Mel Brooks impersonators.